With Christmas right around the corner, I figured why not talk about my favorite Christmas movies and why I love them. Now, keep in mind some movies I might not have seen at all. A Christmas Story, Christmas Story, Bad Santa, The Ref, or Miracle on 34th Street, or some classics. I may not have seen these, but I shall eventually watch these movies and maybe next Christmas talk about them. But I'm going to talk about movies that I've loved ever since I was a kid and the classics that I consider that every Christmas I watch. And I'm not going to spoil them, but I'm going to tell them a little bit about the plot, a little bit about what happens. And, if you guys don't like that, try to skip that part, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah. So, and they're not in any specific order. They're just from one to greatest. These are just my favorites, and just, it's subjective. The Santa Claus. I figured why not begin with a movie that I spent more than half my childhood watching again and again on Christmas. The Santa Claus was a movie I loved as a kid, watching it again and again for the fun it brought to my life. The concept itself was always interesting to me, that the fact that there isn't one, but multiple Santa Clauses, and when one dies, a new person takes on the job, is a pretty good twist on the whole concept. I truly enjoy the idea and the premise the movie takes. Tim Allen is great at playing the cynical guy who slowly becomes Santa Claus, and we see his transformation in the movie. But what makes it really stick is the father-son story that touches any person's heart. Both Tim Allen and his kid named Charlie have great chemistry, where throughout the film they both become closer, and it just warms your heart. The meaning of Christmas is sweet. The sequels miss out on this by having ridiculous ideas to bring back the cast for stories that don't really make any sense. Both miss out on the part that made the original good. But anyways, the movie works and is a classic Christmas movie. And it just sticks because of the fact that it's funny, it's hilarious, and the fact that when you look at it, the heartbeat is Charlie and Tim Allen's relationship right at the start. They're kind of like a little bit estranged, and by the end we see them get a little bit closer. And we see that it's really about family and how becoming Santa Claus kind of made him see the right things in his life. And it's just a great movie overall, and it's funny. Where the sequels kind of just drain that, go down the drain, but that doesn't really matter. But this movie's a classic, and you should watch that. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Often when I have to choose between Bill Murray or Chevy Chase, I always choose Chevy Chase because of the pure fun in this movie. Bill Murray movies are great, but always trying to make Bill Murray into a good guy by the end. Chevy Chase movies are pure fun movies. Good movies that have a wacky character and wacky stories. I keep saying Bill. Bill Murray is a great guy, and his movies are classics, without a doubt. But by the end, it's like, that cynical, sarcastic guy becomes the hero and nice guy. And I like the idea. I love the idea. But same with Chevy Chase movies, that is just a wacky guy who's not gonna change, and it's just much more fun. Like, you just put it on, and it's got a great story, but it's a wacky character, and it makes you love it even more. It just brings that flavor. Plus, Chevy Chase is actually like that in his real life, so it just makes him more amazing. Christmas Vacation is one such case where, again, wacky character in a wacky story. Everything absolutely clicks in this movie by one sole principle. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. It allows the movie to be free and do whatever it pleases. The actors themselves never take anything seriously, and it seems so cheeky. Chevy Chase from the start is just pure in his intentions, but always ends up in hijinks. His cousin Eddie is probably one of the best characters. The neighbors who are somehow getting affected by the Griswolds is probably one of the hilarious things ever. The greatest strength in the movie is that it feels real. Real family vacations are hell and full of hijinks. This feels real. The other vacation movies never really worked for me because of one reason: the silliness. This movie doesn't purposefully try to be silly, it just naturally allows things to happen. The other movies constantly try to force humor in the movies, and it honestly fails at it. The tone between a movie for all ages is blurred by the other movies, and it just fails. But this movie is one of the all-time classics worth watching every year, and it's just silly, it's hilarious, and by the end everything works out for itself. But it's just so good because of its weird, wacky characters and just really relatable what things are. Kiss, kiss, bang, bang. Probably one of the weirdest movies to find on this list. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is one of the most unlikely Christmas movies ever made. It's a dark comedy following Robert Downey Jr. playing Harry Lockhart, a thief who accidentally gets a movie role who finds an actual murder case who he tries to solve with Harmony, his childhood crush, and a private eye, Perry Van Shrike, played by Val Kilmer. This doesn't sound like a Christmas movie because it's not. It's a noir buddy cop film set at Christmas, which is ridiculously funny. I don't want to spoil this movie, but it's kind of hard to talk about it. This movie without spoiling it. And when you watch the movie, there are Christmas lessons and elements within it that make it a Christmas movie. Plus, Val Kilmer and RDJ have incredible chemistry as partners. The mystery is good, the writing's good, the acting's good. What else would you want? Just sit down and watch the movie. Shane Black wrote it and directed it, and sadly, it didn't work at the box office. But I would say it's great because it's got a great mystery, and just everything clicks. It's just so funny and it's ridiculous, and the characters change throughout the story. But it's just a great movie overall to just sit down and watch. Adults don't watch it with kids. It's not for kids, but it's a great movie. Die Hard, one of the greatest action movies ever made, and yes, it is a Christmas movie. I will always fight people to the end that it's a Christmas movie. And I mean, anybody who's watching this has probably watched this movie. Otherwise, go stop this video, go watch the movie. It's freaking incredible. Sure, it's an action movie that created the formula for action movies used for decades. Die Hard's secret weapon is its character work. Most action movies focus on the action, but Die Hard focuses on his characters. John McClane wanting to fix his marriage with his wife, or Reggie slowly becoming a good cop despite his reservations in the movie. These themes could be in any movie. They're just in an action movie where the main character also states yippee-ki-yay motherfuckers. That's what makes the movie so good. It has these family themes wrapped in an action movie. And the thing's wrong, but he doesn't know how to say it to his wife that, hey, I fucked up, I was wrong. But at the same time, it's about a man who's a good man who's willing to do anything for his wife. And that's where it excels, that the character work is just so good that by the end, you really are rooting for these characters more than just to see action sequences, but to see them reunite, to see what's going to happen to them. And you start to care about all these characters unknowingly. And Alan Rickman shines as Hans Gruber. Like, his face-off against John McClane is nothing short of iconic. Like, that's ever. And just that he's just so memorable as this guy who is stone cold killer. And just beautiful. Like, if you haven't seen it, it's just fucking amazing. Go watch this movie, please. Concept replacing John McClane with Santa Claus. And honestly, it works. On every level, the film manages to have a concept that they know is kind of funny, and they run with it. It's bloody and violent, but make sure to have its fun moments. You refer Home Alone that has its moments, but mainly it's so new. When you see Santa Claus fucking up some robbers like a badass and cursing, it's so cool. The violence of John Wick combined with Santa Claus, it creates a sense of fun in its premise. Santa no longer believes in Christmas, but by the end he relearns his own lessons. It's a great movie to relax and a fresh take on the Christmas film. And it's genuinely funny, like they're and it's just funny. It's just weird and it's funny. And I wouldn't say it's for kids necessarily, but it's still a great movie that has a fresh twist, and it's just incredible. I forgot the main guy who plays Santa Claus, but he shines as his badass version of David Harbour. Yeah, David Harbour shines as this Santa Claus, and it's just so amazing. The set pieces, the action, and it's everything. So go watch that movie too. Just go watch it. The Nightmare Before Christmas. I know most people conflict over is this movie a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. Honestly, it's a Christmas movie. It's not scary and has themes that resonate with Christmas. It's the uniqueness that makes this film so good. The idea of Jack Skellington finding Christmas Town. Once he's bored with Halloween Town, he decides to kidnap Santa Claus. But mainly it's the idea of discovering who you are. Jack represents the idea of someone trying to find their place in the world. By the end he does, but it makes the movie more relatable for people who are trying to find who they really are. Plus the songs are really great in this movie, and that's coming from a guy who does not like musicals, and the only other great musical he ever really loves, I don't know, I'm talking third person, but is none other than The Sound of Music. But that's another list and another whole concept. But the thing is that this movie just works on so many levels because it's got this really weird world and this really weird. Just sticks, and you kind of start to see that, hey, this guy Jack Skellington, he's not a bad guy, he's just a guy who's trying to see what else he can do, and by the end he accepts who he is and says there isn't something bad, and he becomes a good guy, and I just love it. The Christmas Chronicles. Netflix movies suck. Let's be honest, they all suck. But Christmas Chronicles is an exception. The story basically follows these two kids and Santa Claus trying to find his bag of toys. It's a great movie because of two main reasons. One, Kurt Russell is a charming, stylish, rough around the edges Santa Claus. He's incredible singing in prison. And the basic reason that he's just stylish, he's charming, you see he's fit, so he's like, the whole movie, it's kind of like a running joke. The Santa Claus is supposed to be fat, and he's like, the guy goes to the gym twice a week, and it's funny because it kind of goes against the notion of Santa Claus, and he just brings this charm to the role that makes you really, really look at him as this James Bond as Santa Claus kind of type of though. The movie Grief. Grief is the center of the film as both kids have lost their father. Especially Cole, the older brother, feels much more, and he opens your heart that through this adventure they explore and grow through their grief. I believe it's a classic that didn't need sequels, but Hollywood did what they've been doing for the past few years. Fucking no. It doesn't need a third one. I think they're making a third one as of this video, or they probably made it, I don't know. But stop it. Don't. Just stop it. But anyways, this movie is incredible, and just character work is on a whole nother level. The insecurities of Cole and his younger sister Katie are just incredible. I think her name is Katie, but is incredible, and the way they grow through the movie is just brilliant, and it's just a classic. It has become a classic, I think, and they need to stop fucking these movies up. Elf. Every list has to have Elf. Quintessential comedy about a human elf trying to find his father and to connect with him. It's a core great story about family, love, and accepting who you are, but it's still a Will Ferrell movie. That makes it much more engaging, where all the humor is just hits everybody, because Will Ferrell feels like he's a fish out of water. It's like when you see him in New York and he's acting ridiculous despite being human, it looks so stupid, but he convinces you that he doesn't know how our world works, and his performance, I believe, makes me laugh my ass off. It's a classic. I don't need to say much more. Just go watch the movie. This is greatly done, and Will Ferrell just shines in a kind of role by him. Home Alone and Home Alone 2. These are the essential Christmas movies ever made. Everybody loves Home Alone. It's the perfect representation of Christmas. I have nothing else to say. If you haven't seen these movies, go watch them. Just great movies and classics everybody should watch. You can watch them with their family, have a great time, laugh. Sure, you could say both movies are great, the 80s John Hughes type of thing, and even though they came out in the 90s, but still, there's great movies, and the representation of Christmas is without a doubt in Home Alone and Home Alone 2. And if you haven't seen these movies, go, please. They're annoying if you haven't watched them. But anyways, so that was the list. Please let me know more Christmas movies to check out, and I'll have another list about best movies of 2023 coming up. And thanks for watching, and please subscribe.